Hello, everybody. I am going to go over servant leadership and the benefits of the servant leadership style. My name is Dan Person. I'm just going to introduce myself a little bit. I have 16 years in the aerospace industry, stemming from the United States Air Force as a crew chief. Then I went on to the Boeing company after 6 years in the Air Force as a modification repair mechanic, a flight test mechanic, and assembly mechanic. Now I'm in the safety coordinator role. During my time in the Air Force, I did do some leadership school training to get my non-commissioned officer rank of staff sergeant. During my Boeing time, I've been involved with an employee involvement team as a team captain. I've trained as a peer-to-peer trainer for people on my crew. I've been an employee involvement facilitator. I am in a leadership development program by the Boeing Asian Professional Association where we teach future leaders for Boeing. And I've taken public speaking at community college and some presentation pros and presenting skills during my time at Boeing. Just a little overview of my background. So this is a servant leadership overview. What is servant leadership? Going over my experiences in the service and with Boeing, benefits of being a servant leader, and other leadership styles. And then we'll review what we learned. What is servant leadership? Well, Robert Greenleaf first conceptualized this leadership style back in 1970. He was a businessman, and basically it's people-centric. So what does that mean? It means a leadership style that puts the people first. So you're a leader of a group, and you have a crew that works for you. You got to understand what the needs are. It's basically finding out what motivates them, like what is their ambitions, what is their goals, what is their objectives, and you try to do your best as a leader to help them obtain those objectives. And in return, they'll do just about anything they can to help you reach those goals. So during my time at the Boeing company, I have a professional coach who asked me this question: what kind of leadership style do I have? And going through all of my career, I kind of had this leadership style where I took care of the people first, made sure they got all the training they needed to succeed and be successful for future objectives. But I didn't know there was a term for it. My professional coach had to let me know. So basically, I learned what a servant leadership after 16 years of working, which is kind of crazy. But basically, he told me what it was is it's like taking a hill in a battlefield. You you see an objective, and you have your crew, and you make sure that everybody takes the hill together. It might take a little bit longer. It might take you off to a different course than the normal route or more a direct route, but you're going to take the hill and you're going to do it successfully with everybody behind you. And that really stuck with me. Let's see. United States Air Force and the Boeing Company. So early on, when you first step off the bus off to boot camp, I mean you're learning leadership attributes right away. I mean, right from the first step off that bus, you got your technical instructor, the one in the Smokey the Bear hat. He's just drilling you and you're pretty much taught early about leadership because he's basically your leader, more of a direct leader, but uh, more to come on that. So with the Air Force, they kind of teach you how you got to learn how to follow before you can lead. One of the main things is I remember one of our slogans was lead, follow, or get out of the way was something that we cheered uh, as we fell into formation in the morning. It was really crazy. So basically, it's like you know, you either lead or you follow, or you get out of the way because we got stuff to get done. So it was really interesting right from the get go. Um, but even then, after that, you go through training, and then you go to your duty location, and right away you're taught leadership skills. You're taught how to communicate with other people, how to work as a team, uh, and how to be a unit and learn how to work together to obtain an objective. So you're only as strong as your weakest link, basically. So there was a time when I was doing on-the-job training in basic military training, and uh, there was these OJTers that would storm our dorm room in the middle of the night, and it was just a bunch of yelling, and just I all I can remember is like they were yelling at me to look after one another. Like if our bed wasn't folded the right way, they wouldn't get mad at me; they would get mad at the guy next to me, right? And I thought that was interesting, but that was teaching us to like look out for one another to help us succeed as a unit. Um, and it was always to bring value to the unit. So um, with being a servant leader, you want to make sure that your new trainees always had what they need to be successful. You always want to make sure they were trained properly, trained the right way, um, because then they just become that much more valuable to the team. So that's really interesting. I took that all the way to the Boeing company too, which when I first got there, the culture was kind of a shock because Boeing, um, they sort of kind of hoard the information from what I've gained, and I wanted to change that culture there. So I really wanted to take what I've learned in the Air Force, where you want to nurture and make sure all your airmen knew what to do, so they can help make the unit successful. Um, my first experience with I guess that was the Air Force was there was this leader that I really liked. He was more of a servant leader because he would always make sure we knew exactly what to do, and he made sure we had time to learn. So he would ask like, who hasn't done this task before, or it was like a window change on a B-1B aircraft, and he would make sure there would be an experienced person and a non-experienced person, so that way eventually we would learn everything there was to know about the B1s. I just remember one distinct time where his name was Staff Sergeant Pitts, and I remember being in the truck alone with him after he dropped off some crew members, and he was my leader that I looked up to. I wanted to be just like him because he knew exactly what to do. He knew exactly what needed to be done, and he was fair, and he made sure everybody's needs were met. Um, but basically, he had a one-on-one talk with me, and he was like, to me, he was like a god. He knew everything there was to know about the B1. There wasn't anything he didn't know, and I just absolutely love that. But when we had this one-on-one conversation, it was a little bit different. It was more him telling me, "Don't be afraid, not knowing everything," because he had been in serving for 20 plus years on the B1, and there's no way he was going to learn everything. So that really kind of put me at ease. Uh, and I'll never forget him. He's one of my favorite leaders, and I want to strive to be just like him, if not better. So some other leadership styles. So there's direct leadership style and technical leadership styles. So direct leadership styles is like kind of like that take the hill mentality, where you got a battlefield, you're on a battlefield, you got a hill. A direct leader is going to take that hill at all cost, and he's going to leave a trail of bodies behind him, but he's going to take that hill. So there's that kind of aspect of direct leadership style. Um, not not always people centric. It's kind of looking inwards. So not very. I don't think there's very much benefit with that, because you're not taking care of the people as a whole. The other leadership style, technical leadership style, you garner a lot of power with technical leadership style because you're technically savvy with your knowledge, your brain power. But that can also be a turnoff to other people that are trying to learn, because sometimes it could seem like you're looking down on the new people that come along, or just the communication skills aren't there. So that's why I think the servant leadership style is probably one of the better leadership styles to have. And let's go over what we learned. So we went over what is servant leadership style. Basically, it's people centric. You want to take care of their needs. Um, uh, if they feel the trust and the loyalty, and they feel like you genuinely care about um, helping them out, then they're going to bend over backwards for you. And I've experienced that firsthand, especially at the Boeing company. As a safety coordinator there, I know there's potential safety focals that would like to be in my position. I want them to learn everything there is to know about my position, so they can step right in. And it just goes with my experience there. My experience with the Air Force also taught me early on that that the servant leadership style is very beneficial, especially to the unit and business objectives and goals. The other leadership styles, there are other leadership styles, but I don't recommend them. There's a direct one, which it can get you far, but it won't favor yourself in the long run, because it's more of looking inwards than outwards, and I don't think your unit will benefit from that. And then the technical leadership style, which is more of the um, technically savvy. You have this knowledge that is sought after, and it's not always communicated that correctly. So that is the review, and this is a servant leadership style. Uh, yeah, that's I think it's a great leadership style, and I really believe that it's beneficial to everybody who learns it. So get out there, take care of your people, and they'll take care of you. Um, my professional coach said that we're in the business of getting people from A to B, and I think that works the same way with the people. So I want to get people where they need to go at a personal level. So thank you for listening.